choice of where to see myself, and I really probably should have thought about this. Follow Congressman Beyer here with my remarks. My name is Marcus Simon. I'm a member of the House of Delegates, member here. I feel very much at home in this space. This is the same temple where I was consecrated as a 6-year-old. I got my bar mitzvah here. I was married here. My daughter is about to be bar mitzvah here this spring. So this is certainly my old stomping ground. I came today mostly to talk about the Clean Power Plan. In Virginia, we have a real opportunity to sort of change the conversation, and that's important. It's funny, Congressman talked about taking some of the polarization out of this. In the Virginia House of Delegates in particular, we have about 67 Republicans and 33 Democrats. And if you want to do anything at all about changing the environment, you can't even talk about the words climate change. You can talk about, you have to find use of euphemisms for it. We can get Republican support out of the Hampton Roads delegation if we talk about persistent coastal flooding. Persistent coastal flooding, they get that. Okay, we get it, the water comes up more often, it's costing us money, our insurance bills are going up, we can't get insurance, we can't keep rebuilding, so that's real, we get that, so we will work on that. But don't call it climate change, because then we can't, some of them will tell you privately, just you can't call it that, because then I can't get behind it. It's political poison for us amongst our base voters. So I think that it's really important that part of his 3-point plan. It takes some of the politics out of it, but it comes off as sort of Orwellian enrichment. You've got to just sort of change the language that you use to talk about these things. The good news is that we've got the power plan, the EPA power plan for all the gnashing of teeth and upset that we heard about it. It's come out, and the goals are, I think everybody agrees, reasonably attainable in Virginia. They can be done without any major upset of the way that utility structures work in Virginia, without changing things completely, without having to go ahead and shut down very expensive existing power plants tomorrow, which was some of the doomsday scenarios that were floated before us. And it does get us, I think, to a place where we can get folks on both sides of the aisle to take some incremental steps forward. If Republicans say, look, we didn't want to do it, but we had to, we're being dragged kicking and screaming, we'll do it. Now, there's going to be a certain element, we've seen that element in Kentucky, there's a certain element that we'll say, I don't care what the federal government tells me I have to do, you can't make me, and I'm not going to do it, I'm going to stomp my feet, bang the table, and I won't do it. But hopefully that's not the cadre that will be in charge of making these decisions as we move forward. And the other things about the elections. It depends also about whether we have a Senate that's controlled by folks that are concerned about the environment and believe that climate change is really happening in Virginia, or if we have a Senate that is more dogmatic in the other direction and wants to continue to deny that this is real. So I hope that we do get a chance to talk about the Clean Power Plan. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, it regulates carbon emissions from power plants. In 2013, Virginia power plants produced 35 million metric tons of carbon pollution, which is about the same as 7 million cars. Right? So if you want to get an idea of what we're talking about. So I noticed I was counting the number of Priuses and Nissan Leafs in the parking lot as I came in. And that's great. I mean, we have a real chance to make a serious impact on this by regulating the power plants. And what the Clean Power Plan does is it sets benchmarks, it sets goals for states to attain, but it doesn't get really specific in the how. It does leave us some flexibility as to how we attain those. And the good news for Virginia is that some of the generation side, we have some flexibility that rates. It's sort of like your example earlier. Hey, we doubled our solar from 6 to 12, right? The good news is there's a lot of low-hanging fruit for Virginia to improve because we don't do a whole lot right now. So that's the good news, bad news side of that story. One of the areas where we have a real big opportunity to improve, which is very popular, is on the efficiency side. Right now we have very few incentives in place for utilities to set up energy efficiency programs that we were hearing about from the extension, what Arlington folks do and what people have an opportunity to do. So there's a way that we can actually fairly easily get to at least half of our goal of what we're required to get to simply by having a really robust system to incentivize utilities to help people make their houses more efficient. Other things we can do that are small and they're sort of wonky, but if we can get to the way the SCC, the State Corporation Commission, which regulates our utilities in Virginia, the way that they do their calculations for what's in the benefit of the consumers. You know, they, as far as they're concerned, it's the dollar per kilowatt hour, or the cents per kilowatt hour. That's really the overriding factor that they consider. So if we can get to get them to consider some other factors, like the stability of those rates. So hey, right now natural gas is really cheap, and so we should favor that in all regulations because it's the cheapest source. But that's a very sort of simplistic view of what the cost is. But going back to my issue about efficiency, it turns out we hear a lot from Virginia and from Dominion Power and from others about what rates we have in Virginia. We have one of the lowest rates in the country, and that's true, but we have some of the highest utility bills in the country as well. We have the 9th highest average housing residential utility bill. So it's about $125 per household on average. So which means we're using up a lot of watts. We're not gaining a lot of benefit from those low rates because a lot of that energy is being spent inefficiently. So we can actually achieve a lot of what we need to do by reducing demand, not just by producing it more cleanly, but by just we need to produce less of it because we need to consume less of it with efficiency. So there are lots of opportunities to do this. I personally am drawn to this issue because I do believe very much that's the right thing to do. It is informed by my Jewish upbringing and by but I was taught by, a lot of you guys know my parents, but I was raised to have strong ethic of tikkun olam, that we have a responsibility to leave the planet better off than we found her. Just like anything else that you do, you know, anytime we went to a rental house at the beach, we had to leave it cleaner than we got it. You know, wasn't this clean when we left or when we got here? It doesn't matter. You got to get it cleaner. Same with the campground. Everyone can leave the site better than you found it. And on a global macro level, you know, I was raised to believe that we ought to leave this planet in better shape than it was when we got here. It's going to be a tough lift, you know, given the direction things are going, but I am committed to working to make that possible. Thank you very much.